What's up, guys? Chris here from Mainly Mesh. Fighting through this sickness. I'm gonna live. I got 12 heads. I got 12 heads in from Lexington, Kentucky, and I'm about to send them back tomorrow. So I just wanted to make sure I got in all the appropriate videos today. So it's gonna be a video blitz today, and I'll do mainly Monday at the end of it all, starting another giveaway. So what I'm going to do right now is compare and contrast Brine's Clutch Elite X and the brand new Brine RP3 X head. I need to change up the shooters a little bit on this head. But so with the Clutch Elite, Brine hopped on the Simrail C channel and Simrail and C channel train, and developed what they call Core Tech. Now, this is the most visible of all the technologies. If you ask me, it's just very obvious that they've hollowed out the inside of the heads. They also have these kind of scallops on top, and whereas I do understand I understand Warrior's Simrail technology in terms of increasing strength by adding a more symmetrical shape, and actually Ninja Lax did a great video reviewing the Evo 4, which was the first head with Simrail, a while back, and explaining a lot of that. If you guys want to go check out this video, I don't fully understand how Core Tech would increase strength at all. I feel like it would. I mean, it doesn't make quite as much sense to me. I'm not an engineer, so I'm not going to claim that I should know, but it's a very stiff head. It's decently flexible, but it's a stiff head. One thing I didn't really like about this head, it just has a very, very wide face shape. This wasn't my favorite, and so bringing in the new Brine RP3, I think they made a lot of improvements to this head in terms of doing a straight up comparison. So if you'll notice, it's kind of hard to tell in the video, but the new RP3X is a little bit more pinched. There's no real good way to show you guys this, but it's a little bit more pinched, a little bit more U-shaped. And so I definitely like the face shape of this head a little more. I just think it's a little more aggressive, and whereas I believe this to be a little too wide, I would really consider the Clutch Elite X to be more of a defensive head. It reminds me a lot more of a Revo or a Hammer, Evo 4 in terms of that width. Whereas I think this head, could really be more of a diverse attackman head. Second thing that I do like about the Clutch line is I do like the offset. I've had some issues with Warriors. I did already show you the burn. So Warrior with the Evo 4 and the burn, they kind of do this thing where, if you notice, okay, so if I put a shaft here, the whole head is leaning forward, right? So it's kind of pushing it more towards a mid, but then the head kind of slopes back up at the end. It's just a little weird for me. It's a little off, and I just don't feel like it's quite the right combination of offset and forward cant. It seems to be a little contradictory for me because I'd love to throw low pockets in those, but the way the cant is, the ball actually rolls a little higher. It's just a strange thing. Whereas in these Brine heads, let's see if I can show you kind of back to back. Well, that looks pretty similar, but hopefully you can see that in the Brine heads, it's a little more flat. So you can see this burn curve back up at the end. This RP3 is a little more flat all the way through, and whereas I'm not a big fan of the face shape, I do like the way that really allows you for just a defined mid-pocket, mid-low. It's just going to be gravitationally advantageous for the ball to sit a little lower in the head. I actually didn't string a low pocket on this head just because I wanted to try a snappy mid-pocket and was working on a different pattern. If you go to U-string, they actually have a pretty good low pattern for this head. Yeah, and I like the more offset heads that don't slope back up at the end. I feel like that gives you just a little bit extra snap in your shot. It's something I really like about the Warrior Nas. Ooh, I think I have a Warrior Nas right here. Yep. So, as you see with the Nas, same thing. It slopes off and then it stays flat. It stays offset the whole way instead of trying to make, here's an Evo 4X. See how this slopes back up? And what happens is as the head wears down, that actually becomes more and more obvious. Sometimes heads do that, but these heads especially. And so it just makes a little bit of a paradox in the head. Now, the one thing you'll notice is the Cortec in this head is a little less exaggerated and actually kind of, it's almost like they didn't want to do it at all, but they kind of wanted to do it as a gimmick. Like you'll see there's the line here, whereas on the clutch it was just all smooth and all kind of fed into the next channel. It kind of makes the head look a little cheaper, unfortunately. The outside looks great, has these cool little dimples on these rails that you can't see, but the inside, I mean, that was one of the issues I had with the Clutch X too. Is it just something about it just looked a little cheaper, and on the outside of the head, this thing looks classy, but on the inside it looks a little cheap. That's purely an aesthetic preference. Also, you see really not that much of a sidewall change. I would consider this an extension of the clutch line, and I think overall it's a pretty positive extension. It's not going to be conducive to a high pocket. So don't pick one up if you're looking for a high pocket. I also don't believe it would be a very good midfielder head for a guy who prefers to keep his stick out to the side and do a lot of sidearm stuff. I would say this is going to be a nice crease attackman, a nice attackman who keeps his stick vertical and nice, enjoys a nice low pocket, kind of like Rob Pennell. Overall, cool new head. I'm loving that they're bringing the price point back down. I believe this is only $85 or $95. But yeah, that's that. Make sure you check it out. If you're an X-Pac guy, I would definitely switch the RP3 over the Clutch Elite. And I've got a bunch more videos for you guys coming up. Catch you guys next time.